So, as I said, this is a time for a different kind of resilience. In those days, back before the beginning of this year, resilience very much meant an ability to face repression, oppression, imprisonment, deprivation of one's rights. But now, the kind of resilience we need is of a different kind. It is the resilience that we need to overcome our own prejudices and to sort out our own personal inclinations from what we think is best for the country. This is a time when we must learn to divorce emotions from intelligent thinking as far as possible. Of course, it will never be wholly possible because we humans cannot divorce our emotions from everything that we do, but we have to try. We are beginning to enjoy a few democratic rights, and it is very important that we use them in the right way, that we may build up a sound foundation for our country. In a time of turbulence, those institutions with the soundest foundations are the safest ones. So we should now build up a country that is so solidly grounded that we will be able to face with confidence all the turbulence that we shall have to face in the future. And there will be times of turbulence. I do not believe that our world will ever be at peace, because human beings by nature are never at peace. But we have to aim at peace. Peace should be the guiding star of the existence of every human being who lives on this planet. Because unless we are all dedicated to peace, there will be greater and greater turbulence in this world. When we talk about modern technology, many people think that this will help to bring the world together. But of course, there is always a downside to everything. The internet that allows us to link up to peoples all over the world also creates polarization, because many people like to link up to those of a like mind, and then they gather the forces, and then they stand up against others who think differently. This will not make for unity out of diversity. I believe that diversity is beautiful. I believe that diversity is of great value, and it is diversity which has helped humanity to progress. And I would like to promote this idea, which seems to have been forgotten, that unity out of diversity is the only genuine kind of unity. Unity between those of like mind is not genuine unity. It's just sameness. It's similarity. It's a similarity of outlook. In some ways, you could say that it's narrow-mindedness, because you keep to those who think in the same way as you do, and then you are inclined to think that you're always right. If you live among those who think only the way you do, you will always think you're right. If you live among the many people who think differently from you, then you will always have to rethink. You will always have to reconsider your own ideas, your own attitudes, to discover whether or not these are right and desirable. And that is what will create resilience. That is what will help to create the kind of resilience which will enable us to face the challenges of the changing world. Whatever challenges may come up, we have to be able to face it. Educationists say that education is not about certificates or degrees. It's about creating an ability to face the challenges of life. So education can help to build up resilience. At the moment, the education system in Burma is in a very sorry state. And we want to change this. We want to change it in such a way that our education system will enable us not only to overcome our problems, but to overtake our ASEAN neighbors and outstrip them if possible. It's always good to be ambitious. And we have to have ambitions that we may realize them. There was a time, I grew up at a time, when I was confident that Burma was one of the greatest countries in the world. I always thought that everybody in the world spoke English and Burmese. We were the two top nations. And we managed to get the British out, so we were number one. That is how I was brought up. And this gave me immense confidence in my country and in myself. And part of the ability to stand up to the hardships of the last few decades was this confidence which had been instilled in me as a child. And I would like to instill this confidence in all our people. The confidence that we belong to a country that is capable of anything and everything, but at the same time capable of sorting out what is good from the bad, what is desirable from the undesirable. Because we can achieve everything or anything, it does not mean that we have to go out to get something that would harm others, that would hurt others, that would have negative effects on others. So, as we nurture resilience, the ability not just to stand up to hardship, but to recover, we have to nurture sympathy, empathy, compassion. These may be concepts that seem outdated in these times, but yet I do not think so. When I was campaigning for the by-elections, I was amazed at how responsive the young people in this country were to the simple message that we tried to give to them, which was a sense of responsibility, honesty, caring for others, compassion. These appeal to the young because young people are, we could describe them as very new human beings, still unspoiled. These new unspoiled human beings were so receptive to these concepts which seem outdated to the not so new human beings, the human beings who have suffered from the wear and tear of life and who have become less idealistic. Now, I must make a difference between idealism and over-optimism. They are not the same. Over-optimism is not based on ideals. It's based on what you want and what you wish things would be. Ideals also are what you would like things to be, but ideals are what you work towards. Ideals are what shape your concept of the world. Ideas are what shape your ideas. Ideals are what give you courage and resilience. Over-optimism will not give you resilience. On the contrary, it'll make you totally unprepared for the problems that crop up. So I would like to make this distinction between over-optimism and idealism. And I would like to join idealism to resistance in Burma's last and most difficult struggle. I always say it's the last mile which is hardest. And if we go wrong in this last mile, we will lose the race. It's those who manage to keep going in the last mile who win. The winners are the ones who keep going. And in order to keep going, it needs more than endurance. So I would like to repeat one of my favorite stories. I always say to our young people when I'm trying to urge them to continue with their work. These were the words spoken by Sebastian Coe when he was a gold medalist way back in the 80s. And he was asked by a reporter how he was, of course, famous for the spurt that he would always manage to put in just before he reached the goal. And while everybody was flagging because they were getting very tired, a reporter asked him, this reporter knew that the greatest problem in the last mile, in the last spurt, was that the pain in your lungs that come in. So he said, how do you stop this pain? How is it that you've managed to train yourselves so you do not feel this pain? And he said, I can't train myself not to feel this pain, but I can train myself to go on in spite of it. And that is resilience. You go on in spite of the pain. You go on in spite of the difficulties. You train yourself to do it. It is not given to you. It is not presented to you at birth. Of course, some of us are naturally more resilient by nature than others. But resilience has to be nurtured. And everybody, every one of us can do it. We can do it as individuals. We can do it as a nation. We can do it as a region. We can do it as the whole world. The ability to withstand, to recover, and not only that, but to progress as well. So what I would like to say very simply is this. Resilience in turbulence times is the answer to overcoming the great challenges that we have to face. Because I thought turbulent times, and when is that? Well, it's always. The times will always be turbulent. Somewhere or the other, there will be turbulence. And wherever there is turbulence in any part of the world, we have to care about it. It is our turbulence, not just the turbulence of peoples elsewhere. It is the same in our country. Whenever there's turbulence anywhere in this country, we should feel it as turbulence everywhere. And we must all be concerned to calm it through resilience, through understanding, through a commitment to national reconciliation. When will we be satisfied with what we have achieved in this country? In some ways, I can say that I will never be satisfied because I will always expect my country to do better and better. But if I am to say, can I name one event, one achievement that would satisfy me, that would be national reconciliation. National reconciliation between all the ethnic peoples of our country. National reconciliation between forces that had opposed one another over the last 2.5 decades. And apart from national reconciliation, international reconciliation, or let's put this way, better international relations with our neighbors and with the wider world. When we have achieved that, then I can say that we have achieved what we set out to achieve on the 26th of August, 1988, as Dr. Timothy Aung pointed out, when I said to the people of Burma, this is our second struggle for independence. We are now struggling not for independence from a foreign power, but independence from authoritarianism within our own country. So what we are now struggling for is independence from ourselves, from our own prejudices, from the chains that shackle us to the past. If we manage to achieve this independence through resilience, through hard work, and through idealism, then I think we can say that not only will we overcome the turbulent times that we are facing now, but that we will have equipped ourselves to be able to face any kind of turbulence that may arise in the future. Thank you.